Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Got a little video about epistemology that we're going to go over real quick. It's an experiment with chimpanzees. Now, let's talk about the crow epistemology that Ayn Rand mentioned. She's mentioned this experiment where they had crows would come down out of the trees and eat this food in the middle of a clearing. And then people would walk in to the clearing and scare the crows away. And then they would leave the clearing and the crows would come back. And they did various groups went in and various things happened, and what they discovered was the crows could keep track of up to 3 people. So if they watched 3 people come in one by one, and then they would wait until all 3 had left before they would come back. They wouldn't come down out of the trees. They could keep track of 3. But once it got up to 4 people would come in, and 3 would leave, that confused them enough, and then they would come down out of the trees even though, and then whatever, see there was somebody there or whatever. So the point was that they could keep track of up to 3 things. Now humans can keep track of up to 5. And there's various ways to test this. You can do it on a computer screen with things that are moving or whatever, and you can hit up to 5 things. You can keep track in your immediate perceptual awareness. You can keep track of up to 5 things. It's just a metaphysical fact of our consciousness. Crows can do 3, we can do 5. Now you might say, well, it's our bigger brain power, etc. What if I told you monkeys can do 10? Chimpanzees, orangutans, whatever it is. One of these great apes can do 10. Then how would we square that with what we understand? But I think that obviously then we came from a species that had 10. And why do we not have 10? Well, because somebody was born that only had 9, and we lived in groups by that time, and so you were able to survive easier than if you were just a monkey by yourself in the wilderness. So that one passed on its genes, it was able to survive fine, and then one was born that had a crow epistemology of just 8, and he had kids, and then one was born that had a crow epistemology of 7, and we're down to 5. And 5 is maybe it went from 10 to 5 in one mutation. Who knows? Maybe it went from 10 to 7 to 5. Who knows? But we're down to 5. And monkeys have a larger crow epistemology because they need a larger inventory of immediate, this instant perceptions in order to survive. We simply don't need such a large inventory to survive. And if we had the capacity of being able to fly away, then we wouldn't need even 5. We could get along with just 3. You would need to keep track of very little in the world if as soon as anything startled you, you just went up into the air. Right? So they have a very, very limited epistemology. We have a medium epistemology. It's better than the crows, but we don't really have anything that's killing off people that aren't focusing. So people who can't focus on multiple things are surviving, so we do not have a crow epistemology of 10 anymore, which our great ancestors did. Now, here's the video.
And finally from us here on the webcast today, a story that might cause some of you to question whether or not we human beings really are the smartest creatures here on planet Earth.
See, we are actually smarter than chimps, and the fact that we're smarter than chimps means more of us survive, and the fact that more of us survive means we have a reduced crow, because a crow concerns your immediate, this-second perceptions in the world, and we don't have a need of immediate, this-second perceptions in the world. We don't live in a world where the jungle is attacking us every single instant, although great apes do, so they have to have a crow of 10.
These researchers created an intelligence test that pitted humans against chimps, and in the end, we look like chumps. Here's Bill Blakemore.
Always have to derogate humans. It's their philosophy that does that. This experiment proves that chimps need an immediate crow that's vast. That's all it proves. It doesn't prove that humans are inferior because they don't have a vast immediate crow. Epistemology.
First test. Can chimpanzees count from 1 to 9 in the right order in return for a peanut or other tasty reward? Yes, they can. Now, if you just flash the 9 numerals for a moment, then cover them, can a chimpanzee remember where each numeral was and still get the order they were in right? Yes, for another tasty treat. This chimp got this wrong once. but thought nothing of it, and, undaunted, went right back to getting them all correct. Now, if you flash just some of the 9 numerals, then cover them, can a chimp, A, remember where each was, and B, in the right order, even though some were missing? Yes. Slowing down not one bit. And note, chimps can also eat and memorize at the same time.
Now, why would they be able to... Why would their mind be so acute that it could focus on what's going on around them to the extent of holding 9 numbers in their mind, while they're using their hands to eat? Why would they be that way? Because the ones that aren't that way, the ones that can't keep track of their surroundings while they're eating, are dead. Okay? It's as simple as that.
Not only that, if right after the numerals are flashed, the chimpanzee is then distracted, say by some monkey business over to the right off camera, or perhaps by another good-looking chimpanzee, and then returns to it, no problem.
So his immediate crow is long enough to hold for 5 or 10 seconds or something like that. Maybe not for 5 minutes, but for 5 or 10 seconds he can hold a larger crow than human beings.
Just keep the goodies coming. Now, can another primate species, the adult Homo sapien, do the same? Well, okay. And again? 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 One more try?
We can see it's a woman's hand.
Okay.
We're not going to say
But
anything about
actually,
that. That doesn't matter.
Chimpanzees did much better than humans in this flash and remember test, leaving the Japanese human researchers scratching their heads. One possible theory: chimpanzees care more than humans about peanuts.
If that's what it is. Alright, so that's just a funny joke at the end. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the crow epistemology. Larger in certain animals that have to have a larger crow to survive, and probably extremely small in the crow itself, because the crow can fly away. And humans are right in the middle of those. And we are not dumber than monkeys because we have a smaller crow. Monkeys are dumber than us, and therefore need a large crow in order to survive.